Hi, my name is Leah Chantel, and today I'm talking about why it's critical we manifest the things we're hoping for this year and why we don't want to fail. We need to get the ball rolling and we need to get started on our goals, dreams, and ambitions now. So the first step in achieving your goals, dreams, and ambitions, and this is a very critical step that most people overlook or don't think through carefully enough, is selection. And I got this from Helene Hansel. She won thousands of contests. She has a really interesting history where she started entering contests in the late 40s. For the first 10 years, she didn't really manifest anything. So keep that in mind when you're trying to manifest a big dream. Sometimes you go through a very long lag period where nothing happens. And sometimes you may experience success right away. It depends on the person and it depends what you're trying to manifest. But after 10 years of not doing very well, she kept at it, studied more, and then she started winning thousands of contests. And she even won herself a house. That's a big deal. It's not an easy thing to manifest. So we can all learn from this. And she has a 4-step formula that begins with selecting the right dream. And this is probably the most important step in manifesting, is to pick the thing that resonates with you. Now, there's no right level of manifestation. You can go small to big. Having said that, it really depends where you're at in your life. Sometimes you need to start small to build confidence, and that gets you going along your journey. Maybe your goal is you wake up and you make a peanut butter jelly sandwich in the morning, and that's it for the day. That means you've succeeded and you've manifested something. And that's great. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Having said that, what happens when we keep our dreams and goals too small over a long period of time is we can kind of grow bored with them. It's like we all know how to manifest. We manifest these little things all the time. But then we just get nervous when it's something big. It's like, oh, if I need to go buy a car, or I need to go buy a house, or I need to plan a trip in another country, or I need to move to another country, that's when we get kind of nervous. Or we need to get married. All these sorts of big life changes are what scare us, right? But usually it's the big decisions that actually change our lives the most, right? And they can change our lives for the worse or for the better. And that's why they're so important to look at and to consider adding to our list of what we want to manifest in 2024. And so when we work on the bigger goals, what happens is it gets us out of our comfort zone. It stretches us, and then we form a new identity when we achieve that goal. It's like, oh, I have a new category in my life. Like, I'm now in a successful, happy relationship, whereas I wasn't before. Or now I'm a homeowner where I've never owned a home before. Or maybe it's I got that promotion that I was hoping for at work, or I started the business that I'd been always dreaming about. These things really add a lot of value to your life. And so it's worth considering taking on a big goal, a big, audacious, ambitious goal, and working towards manifesting it. And the process of manifestation also requires you to let go of your bad habits. So we all have them. We all sometimes eat foods that aren't good for us, or maybe we drink or intake substances that aren't good for us, or maybe we spend time with toxic people. And believe it or not, the toxic people one is probably the biggest time and health suck in your life, more than the food or the substances. I know that's crazy, right? But it can be. Like, a lot of practices will focus more on the substances and the foods and the drinking, and that's good. When you discipline that, that's a good practice. But believe it or not, negative people can be the biggest time suck in your life. And so you want to really avoid negative people and negative situations. Now, having said that, when we become disciplined and we get good at avoiding that stuff in our lives, that's when we start getting momentum. And we need to look at our resources. How about our time, our energy, our money? These things, are they pointing towards our goals, dreams, and ambitions? Or are they getting sucked into other priorities in the moment? Do I feel like eating out today because I'm really hungry and I'm not saving for the thing that I really want to save for that's big in my life? So think about those things. I'm not saying there's ever anything wrong with takeout, or there's nothing wrong necessarily with buying something you want. Sometimes that can be in alignment with your higher self and with what's truly meant for you in this life. So it's not like these things are wrong. you just want to consider, what are your habits and are they really working towards your heart's desire, your true goals, dreams, and ambitions? And when you project that you're working towards your goals, dreams, and ambitions, which is the second step that's recommended by Helene Hansel, that's when you imagine yourself in the situation of your goal being manifested. You imagine you have the home, or you start going to see homes to imagine what it would be like to live in one and purchase one. Or maybe you're visualizing going to France for the first time, or maybe you're visualizing meeting the ultimate partner of your dreams. The thing is, when you put those visualizations into your consciousness, you're more likely to pull them towards you, because you're filling your consciousness with positive visions for your life, and that fills the void in your life with more positivity. And you need to pick the ones that are really juicy for you. Whatever it is, big or small, you need to pick the thing that's really going to add value and make you happy in your life. Maybe you don't need a house or a marriage right now. Maybe what will make you really happy are really joyful, uplifting friendships. That's a big category that's very important for a lot of people and is worth manifesting in 2024. The next step in Helene Hansel's process is that you have to expect that you're going to achieve the thing you're going to achieve. If you don't believe that you can have the thing that you're hoping to achieve, then the vibration is off. You might be putting it in your mind like, "Ooh, I want this," but somewhere in your gut, you're like, "Oh, I don't deserve to have it," or "I can't have it because of X, Y, and Z," and you have to go in and go through those discrepancies in your consciousness to see, why am I feeling that way? Why am I feeling unworthy? Is it because of something somebody told me when I was a child that's no longer relevant? We sometimes get these bad role models when we're children. And let's say we're in an art class and we're trying to draw something and the teacher thinks we haven't done a good job of drawing it. They'll say, "Well, you're not really skilled or gifted in the arts," right? And so sometimes we come across these judgments from teachers and they're not really that accurate. Maybe that's what they think from their perspective, but there's many different ways to do art, right? And even with math or something more logical, well, maybe the teacher said you were wrong and the test was wrong or something, but maybe they just weren't teaching math in a style that was appropriate for your learning style. We all have different learning styles. Some of us are visual learners, auditory learners, and some of us are kinesthetic. And if the teacher had a learning style that didn't match with how you learn optimally, maybe that was why you really struggled with math. But those negative inputs that we get from teachers or from even our parents sometimes, that we're not good at something, kind of builds up in our consciousness, and they could even be well intended, but it comes into formation like these negative feelings of shame. And that actually blocks us from expecting the thing that we want. We have to sometimes go in and heal that shame or that sense of negativity that we have in order to create the better result that we're hoping to create for ourselves. And so that can take time. Sometimes we need to go to therapy or we need to get help from people we really trust in order to deal with those painful feelings of shame. And sometimes it's not in our immediate circle of friends and family that we can find that support. Sometimes we need to go and find creative support groups or therapists or whatever support that we need to really overcome these negative feelings, because sometimes they're quite strong and it's quite tricky to undo them. And so it takes time, it takes patience, and it takes some hard work. But if we can undo our negative patterns, then we have that shot of expecting that good thing to come into our life. And then we can move on to the fourth step that Helene Hansel recommends, and that is to collect. That's when you get the thing that you've been hoping to manifest. And it's more achievable than you would think. There are some things in my life that I thought I would never achieve, like going and living in another country. And then it happened spontaneously when I opened myself to the possibility and to the opportunity. That's a very big deal. There are a lot of people who achieve a lot of things, but don't get that opportunity to live in another country. And so you just never know what you're truly capable of unless you allow yourself to dream it and you allow yourself to go after it. And the reason why it's so important in 2024 to go after our goals, dreams, and ambitions, You know, some religions will say we have to get rid of all of our desires and devote ourselves to service. And I mean, that's okay, I guess. But having said that, for some people, that reality is just too boring, I guess, or not motivating enough for them to really compel and act in a really positive way. And so manifestation works well for a lot of people in focusing on really positive, constructive things that they're hoping to bring into their reality. Even if you technically don't get the thing that you're hoping to get for a while, if you start the process at least of trying to get it, you will get somewhere. But also, Helene Hansel says, don't use the word try. Just do the thing that you're doing and go for it. So that was my mistake, using that word. So avoid the word try as well, but work towards the thing, even if it doesn't appear yet. Keep being persistent and keep working at it, and have faith that it's going to appear shortly, and phrase it in the present. It's appearing now, in your mind, in your visualizations. And you just never know. I have this building that I live in right now, actually. It's very interesting. When there's a repair that needs to be done, the way the building kind of communicates with me is they don't tell me necessarily when someone's coming in to fix it. What will happen is I'll put in the request for something to be fixed, and I'll wait for a long time sometimes. And then spontaneously, one day, person shows up to come in and fix it, and they don't really give me much warning, which some people would find frustrating. But the interesting thing to me is I thought manifestation's kind of like that too. Sometimes you're in lag time for a long time and you don't have any indications that what you're trying to do is working. And then spontaneously, one day, you just get the thing that you were hoping for. It just manifests. But you have to put in your ticket and you have to put in the request in order to get that person to come in. But then you kind of have to let it go and be patient while that thing is in the process of manifesting, because sometimes there is a lag time, especially for very big dreams that you're hoping to manifest. I hope you enjoyed my video about why manifestation is so important in 2024. Our world is getting faster and faster paced, and both positivity and negativity is spreading at a very fast rate in our world. That's how it is. And so if you want to be on the side of positivity and on the side of having a good life, you need to set intentions for it and work towards it. Otherwise, if we don't try to go for our goals, dreams, and ambitions, we're more likely to get caught in a negative wave in life. And that's not a good thing to happen. The way to avoid the negative wave, and we do get some tsunamis in our lives, we don't ever completely avoid it, but we stay on the side of getting positive things in our life most of the time when we're focused on constructive goals, dreams, and ambitions for our future, and we're appreciating what we have and cherishing what we have in the present as well. And even having gratitude for anything that happened in the past, because even if it wasn't that pleasant, we learned from it. So I hope you enjoyed my video about why manifestation is so important in 2024. If you have any comments about what you're hoping to manifest this year, definitely leave them below. I'd be curious to see what projects people are working on. And it's always lovely to connect with all of you. I've met so many interesting people in the comments already who are watching, and I'm so grateful for you all to be here. So I can't wait to post for you again and share more information with you in the future very soon. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Bye now.